Ladies and gentlemen, time is the most loyal companion you will ever have. Yet it is also the one many of us ignore the most. We spend hours worrying, scrolling, comparing, and waiting for life to change, while time quietly slips away. What we don't realize is that every minute is a chance to rebuild ourselves, to heal, to dream, and to rise again. Time is not your enemy. It is your opportunity. Your time defines your life, because every moment you live becomes a piece of who you are becoming. Many people think their life is shaped by big achievements, major breakthroughs, or dramatic turning points, but the truth is much simpler. Your life is shaped quietly, slowly, and consistently by the way you spend your hours every day. The choices you make with your time carve your character, your mindset, your discipline, and your future. If you fill your days with distraction, confusion, or hesitation, those feelings become a part of you. If you fill your days with purpose, learning, and effort, that becomes your identity. Time is not just the ticking of the clock, it is the story you write with your actions. And every minute is a sentence added to that story. When you start valuing your time, you begin to understand how powerful your life truly is. You start noticing how much you waste by giving your precious hours to negative people, pointless activities, and empty habits. You realize that every time you say yes to something unimportant, you are saying no to your dreams without even realizing it. Your time is your currency. Whatever you invested in becomes your reality. If you invested in growth, you grow. If you invested in excuses, your excuses grow. If you invested in complaining, your problems expand. Time responds directly to your choices, and life becomes the reflection of where your hours went. Most people underestimate the value of 1 hour, thinking it is too small to matter. But 1 hour of focus can change your entire direction. 1 hour of learning can sharpen your skills. 1 hour of planning can clear your confusion. 1 hour of silence can heal your mind. And 1 hour of discipline repeated daily can transform your entire life. Your time defines your life because it shapes what you know, how you think, and what you continuously become. The person you admire or the success you dream about is not created by luck. It is created by the consistent, quiet, disciplined use of time. There is a simple truth many people avoid. You cannot rise without respecting your time. You cannot reach great goals if your hours are scattered. You cannot become strong if your time is spent in weak environments. You cannot build a powerful mind if your attention is constantly divided. Life does not improve in the future, it improves in the time you control right now. Every action you take is a message to yourself about what kind of life you want to build. If you spend time on your goals, you are telling yourself that your dreams matter. If you waste time, you are silently telling yourself that your potential does not deserve attention. Your time defines your life because it defines your priorities. People often say they want change, they want success, they want peace, they want growth. But their time tells a different story. If you want to know what truly matters to someone, observe how they spend their hours. Time never lies, it reveals what your heart is focused on, what your mind is controlled by, and what your future is being shaped into. When you protect your time, you protect your future. When you control your time, you control your destiny. When you direct your time towards growth, you direct your life towards excellence. The more you understand the value of your time, the more intentional you become. You stop tolerating unnecessary drama, meaningless conversations, and energy-draining environments. You begin to choose carefully what you allow into your schedule and into your mind. You become more disciplined, more focused, and more aligned with your goals. Your time becomes a boundary, a filter, and a statement of self-respect. And slowly your life transforms, because the hours that were once wasted are now building the future you always wanted. Protect your hours like you protect your dreams, because your hours are the soil where your dreams grow. People often talk about their goals with passion. They visualize big futures. They speak about what they want to achieve, but when it comes to protecting the time required to reach those goals, they become careless. Your dreams are fragile in the beginning, like small seeds. They need time, attention, and consistency to grow. If you allow distractions, negativity, or careless habits to steal your hours, those seeds never get the chance to turn into something real. Protecting your hours is not about strictness, it is about honoring what your future self depends on. Every hour you guard becomes a building block for the life you want to live. When you protect your hours, you begin to understand the difference between urgency and importance. Many things in life feel urgent but are not important. Messages, notifications, random conversations, unnecessary outings. They demand your time loudly, but they bring nothing to your growth. On the other hand, your dreams speak softly. They ask for quiet effort, patient learning, and focused action. If you don't protect your hours, the loud distractions win every time. And then people wonder why their goals feel distant, why they feel stuck, why progress seems slow. The answer is simple. Unprotected hours lead to an unprotected life. Your dreams need a space to breathe, and that space is created by guarding your time. Protecting your hours also teaches you self-respect. When you say no to things that don't align with your goals, you are not being rude, you are being responsible. You are telling yourself that your life has direction. You are saying that your time matters. You are affirming that your dreams are worthy of effort. Many people struggle because they try to please everyone, attend every call, answer every message, go to every gathering, and stay available for everyone except themselves. But growth does not happen in an environment of constant availability. Growth needs boundaries. It needs protected hours where you are unreachable, undistracted, and fully present with your work and with yourself. The more you protect your hours, the more powerful your focus becomes. You begin to notice that when you truly give yourself uninterrupted time, your mind becomes sharper, your ideas expand, your creativity flows, and your productivity rises. Protected time increases your value, both internally and externally. Internally, you feel more confident because you are living with intention. Externally, people begin to respect your boundaries because they see you respecting your own time. This shift changes the quality of your work and the quality of your life. Focused hours multiply your results in ways that scattered time never can. Protecting your hours also means choosing the right battles. Not everything deserves your energy. Not every argument needs your response. Not every event needs your presence. Not every person deserves unlimited access to your mind. When you start valuing your hours, you naturally learn to walk away from things that drain you. You stop chasing validation from people who contribute nothing to your growth. You stop allowing emotional chaos to control your day. You start choosing peace over noise, discipline over impulse, and long-term success over temporary comfort. Your dreams become real only when your hours are guarded. Every skill you want to master, every goal you want to achieve, every habit you want to build requires repeated protected time. Without that protection, even the strongest desire loses strength. Protecting your hours is the foundation of becoming the person you want to be. It is the silent, steady discipline that turns potential into reality. Your dreams are precious, but they cannot survive without your time, and that is why your hours must be guarded with the same seriousness you give to your biggest dreams. Don't give time to people who drain your energy, because your energy is the fuel that powers your entire life. When you surround yourself with people who take more than they give, who complain more than they support, who criticize more than they uplift, you slowly begin to lose the strength needed to move forward. Some people do not take your money, but they take something more valuable: your peace, your focus, your motivation, and your hours. Every time you sit with someone who fills your mind with negativity, you leave feeling heavier than before. Every time you listen to someone who only talks about problems and drama, your mental space becomes crowded and your creativity weakens. Your energy is not infinite, and the people you allow into your life shape the quality of your days, your decisions, and your dreams. You start noticing the impact when you observe your emotions after spending time with certain people. Some people leave you inspired, while others leave you exhausted. Some conversations give you clarity, while others leave you confused. Some people remind you of your strength, while others make you doubt yourself. Many individuals drain your energy without even doing anything dramatic. They drain you slowly through constant negativity, unrealistic expectations, unhealthy comparisons, or emotional imbalance. They might not harm you directly, but their presence disturbs your mental rhythm. Protecting your energy is essential because your dreams need a clear, focused mind, not one clouded by unnecessary emotional weight. When you give your time to energy draining people, you unconsciously send a message to yourself that your peace is negotiable. You teach your mind that your inner balance can be sacrificed for the sake of keeping others comfortable. But the truth is, not everyone deserves a seat in your life. Not everyone deserves your attention, your care, your hours. There are people who will take your time and give you stress in return. There are people who will take your kindness and return nothing but criticism. There are people who will take your presence and repay you with confusion. And if you keep giving your time to such people, your life becomes a cycle of emotional exhaustion. You need to understand that your energy is connected to your purpose. When your energy is clean, your ideas flow easier. When your energy is strong, your discipline becomes consistent. When your energy is protected, your motivation grows naturally. But when your energy is drained, even simple tasks feel heavy. You lose enthusiasm for your goals. You become slower, more distracted, and more emotional. This is why successful people are very selective with their time. They guard their energy the same way they guard their dreams, because they know that every distraction, every argument, every unnecessary interaction takes something away from their inner power. Choosing not to give time to draining people does not make you heartless. It makes you aware. It means you finally understand the difference between helping and hurting yourself. It means you know that you cannot grow in an environment filled with noise, negativity, and emotional pollution. It means you realize that every hour spent with the wrong person is an hour stolen from your future self. It is not your responsibility to carry people who refuse to walk on their own. It is not your duty to entertain people who add no value to your life. It is not your job to fix people who are committed to staying the same. When you take control of who you give your time to, your life changes quietly but powerfully. You start making space for people who encourage you instead of draining you. You attract individuals who understand boundaries, who respect your growth, who value your dreams. Your days become lighter, your mind becomes clearer, and your progress becomes faster. You begin to feel a sense of inner freedom because you are no longer carrying emotional weight that does not belong to you. Protecting your time from draining people is not about pushing others away. It is about choosing yourself and creating an environment where you can grow without being pulled down. Use time to build, not to complain, because every moment you spend complaining is a moment taken away from your progress. Complaining gives you temporary release, but it takes away long-term growth. It traps your mind in a cycle where problems feel bigger, solutions feel smaller, and your energy becomes weaker. When you complain, you focus on what is wrong instead of what can be improved. You talk about obstacles instead of searching for ways around them. You waste emotional power on negativity instead of using that power to take meaningful steps forward. Growth happens through action, not through repeating the same frustrations again and again. Complaining may feel comforting, but it never moves you closer to the life you want to build. When you use your time to build, your entire mindset shifts. You begin to understand that every small effort matters. 1 hour of learning, 1 hour of creating, 1 hour of practicing, 1 hour of planning. All of it builds momentum. It may not look impressive at first, but consistency transforms these small moments into big achievements. The person who builds every day grows stronger than the person who complains every day. The person who builds develops discipline, clarity, and confidence. The person who complains stays stuck, confused, and emotionally exhausted. Life may not give you perfect conditions, but it always gives you time, and how you use that time decides whether you rise or stay where you are. When you stop complaining, you free your mind from the weight of victimhood. You stop blaming the world, the people around you, the circumstances you faced. You begin to realize that responsibility is not a burden, it is a superpower. When you take responsibility, you take control. You can change your habits, improve your skills, adjust your strategy, or rebuild your path. Complaining gives control to everything outside of you, but building gives control back to you. Even if life feels unfair, choosing to build instead of complain transforms your mindset into one of resilience. You start seeing challenges as lessons, failures as feedback, and obstacles as opportunities to grow stronger. Using your time to build also changes your emotional state. Progress naturally brings motivation. Each small step you take gives you a sense of achievement. Your confidence increases because you know you are moving forward even if slowly. On the other hand, complaining drains your motivation. It creates a cycle where your problems feel heavier, your enthusiasm fades, and your hope becomes weak. When you use time to build, you create emotional momentum. You feed your mind with progress, not with excuses. You strengthen your sense of direction, not your list of complaints. Many people waste their time talking about what they don't have, what others did wrong, or how life treated them unfairly. They don't realize that those conversations are stealing their future. Time spent complaining is time that could have been used to work on a dream, start a project, learn a skill, or build a better version of themselves. Complaining changes nothing. Action changes everything. When you use your time to build, you give yourself a chance to rise above your circumstances. You give yourself the power to transform your life. You need to understand that life responds to effort, not to complaints. If you want better results, give better actions. If you want better opportunities, build better skills. If you want a better future, create better habits. Every step you take towards building something meaningful, even if it is small, moves you closer to your goals. And every moment you spend complaining delays your progress. You cannot build and complain at the same time. One mindset creates solutions, the other multiplies problems. One uses time like a tool, the other wastes time like a habit. When you choose to build, you start valuing every moment. You stop waiting for motivation and start creating it through movement. You stop expecting life to become easier and start becoming stronger yourself. You stop thinking about what went wrong and start focusing on what you can make right. Building with your time creates a life of purpose, confidence, and direction. Complaining creates a life of stagnation, frustration, and regret. When you shift from complaining to building, everything in your life begins to change slowly, quietly, but powerfully because you stop feeding your limitations and start feeding your growth. Small daily actions decide your future because your life is not shaped by one big decision or one dramatic moment, but by the repeated choices you make every single day. People often wait for a perfect day to start, a perfect plan to follow, or a perfect moment to feel motivated, without realizing that their future is silently being shaped by what they do in present. Every small action you take either moves you closer to your goals or pulls you further away from them. Even the habits that seem insignificant, waking up on time, reading a few pages, practicing a skill for a short while, eating a cleaner meal, taking a small step towards a project, these are actions that build momentum. They don't look powerful in the moment, but they become powerful through consistency. Your future is built quietly. You don't notice the change at first. You don't feel the progress immediately. That's where most people fail. They underestimate the power of small actions because they can't see instant results. They think one day of discipline doesn't matter. One skipped task doesn't matter. One lazy hour won't affect anything. But the truth is that small actions compound. One small improvement repeated daily becomes a strong habit. One small habit repeated daily becomes a lifestyle. And a lifestyle repeated daily becomes your future. Greatness is not built in a single leap. It is built in steady steps that no one sees. Small daily actions are important because they train your mind, they shape your discipline, sharpen your clarity, and strengthen your commitment. When you show up every day, even if it's just for a short period, you tell your mind that your goals matter. You build trust with yourself. You wake up, you remove doubt, and replace it with belief. Each small action becomes proof that you are capable of consistency. And consistency is far more powerful than intensity. Anyone can work hard for one day, but only a disciplined person can show up every day. Those daily actions create identity. They transform you into someone who chooses growth over comfort, effort over excuses, improvement over prayer. Procrastination. Small actions also protect you from feeling overwhelmed. When goals are big, the mind gets scared. It starts thinking about how far you have to go and how much work is required. But when you break your journey into small daily steps, everything becomes manageable. You don't need to complete the whole journey today. You just need to complete today's step. This simple shift reduces pressure and increases progress. You start enjoying the process instead of fearing it. You start seeing movement instead of worrying about the destination. And daily movement is what keeps your dreams alive. Your future self is shaped by what you repeatedly do, not by what you occasionally dream about. If you want a strong body, your daily workouts matter more than one intense session. If you want financial stability, your daily money decisions matter more than one lucky opportunity. If you want success in your craft, your daily practice matters more than a single moment of brilliance. Time rewards consistency, not random effort. Small daily actions build habits, habits build character, and character builds your future. Many people compare themselves to others and feel discouraged without realizing that the difference between success and failure often lies in simple daily choices. The successful person is not always more talented or more intelligent, they are just more consistent. They commit to their small actions even when they don't feel motivated. They show up even when progress feels slow. They trust the process even when the results are invisible. And those small actions eventually create a gap so wide that others cannot understand how they moved ahead. One day you will look back and realize that your future was built in the quiet moments when you chose to focus instead of scroll, to learn instead of waste time, to practice instead of procrastinate, to move instead of stay. Why still? Small daily actions decide your future because they are the foundation of everything you become, everything you achieve, and everything you rise above. Time wasted today becomes regret tomorrow, because every hour that slips away without purpose silently shapes a future filled with "I wish I had" instead of "I'm glad I did." Most people don't realize the weight of time until it has already passed. In the moment, wasting hours feels harmless. It feels like there will always be more time, more chances, more opportunities. But the truth reveals itself slowly. The hours you waste today are the achievements you never reach tomorrow. Regret is born not from failure, but from the time you could have used to try to learn, to improve, and to move forward. Every dream you delay becomes harder to catch. Every habit you postpone becomes tougher to start. Every opportunity you ignore becomes a door that eventually stops opening. Time does not punish you. It simply moves on, and your future becomes a reflection of how you used your past. When you waste time, you lose more than minutes. You lose progress, potential, and confidence. You lose the chance to become a better version of yourself. You lose the small steps that could have built momentum. You lose the discipline that could have shaped your character. Over time, these losses turn into emotional weight. You start feeling behind, unprepared, and overwhelmed. Regret grows quietly, not in a single moment, but through layers of wasted hours that could have been invested in your growth. It shows up in your thoughts as frustration, in your decisions as hesitation, and in your heart as disappointment. People often blame circumstances, but the deepest regrets usually come from the time they had and didn't use. The painful truth is that time doesn't wait for motivation. mood, or convenience. It moves whether you are ready or not. That is why wasting time becomes so dangerous. It creates a false sense of security. You start believing you can delay your goals and still somehow reach them. You convince yourself that you will begin tomorrow, next week, next month. But tomorrow becomes another tomorrow, and soon the gap between you and your dreams becomes wider than you imagined. The thing about regret is that it doesn't appear suddenly. It reveals itself when you realize you needed the results but didn't have the discipline to earn them. Using your time wisely is not about rushing or being busy. It is about being intentional. Every focused hour adds something to your future. Every wasted hour takes something away. The time you spend today either builds your confidence or builds your regret. When you choose progress, even in small steps, your future becomes lighter, clearer, and more hopeful. But when you avoid effort and run toward distractions, that same future becomes heavier, filled with unresolved goals and unfulfilled potential. Regret is simply the shadow of wasted time. It follows you when you move without purpose. Time wasted today often comes from comfort habits. Scrolling, overthinking, unnecessary conversations, meaningless tasks. These may feel relaxing in the moment, but they steal your direction. Comfort is not the enemy, but overconsumption of comfort is. It delays your growth while convincing you everything is fine. And when the future finally demands the results of the work you avoided, that comfort turns into the regret of lost discipline. This regret feels sharper because deep down you know you could have done better. You had the time, you had the ability, but you didn't use them. That realization is one of the toughest feelings a person can face. The good thing is that avoiding future regret is simple. Respect the time you have right now. Use it wisely, show up even when you don't. Feel ready, take small steps even when progress seems slow. What feels hard today becomes strength tomorrow. What feels repetitive today becomes skill tomorrow. What feels insignificant today becomes transformation tomorrow. Time rewards those who use it with intention. The people you admire are not lucky. They are disciplined with their hours. They choose growth over distraction, action over excuses, and consistency over comfort. Every minute you invest today becomes a blessing for your future self. Every minute you waste becomes a burden. The difference between a future filled with pride and a future filled with regret lies in the choices you make right now, in the quiet moments when no one is watching, when it's easier to waste time but more powerful to use it. Value yourself by valuing your time, because the way you treat your hours reflects the way you treat your own worth. When you allow your time to be wasted, interrupted, or controlled by others, you silently tell yourself that your goals, your dreams, and your growth are not a priority. But when you guard your hours, when you choose where your attention goes, when you invest your time in meaningful actions, you send a powerful message inward. You matter. Your journey matters, and your future matters. People often look for self-worth in compliments, achievements, or validation from others. But true self-value is shown in how you manage the moments life gives you. Time is not just a resource, it is a mirror that reflects what you believe about yourself. When you value your time, you stop settling for less. You stop giving endless chances to people who drain your energy. You stop saying yes to things that delay your progress. You stop letting random distractions steal your focus. You begin to build boundaries, not from ego, but from self-respect. Every time you protect your schedule, you protect your identity. Every time you choose work over laziness, growth over comfort, discipline over distraction, you strengthen your belief that you deserve a better life. This belief becomes the foundation of your confidence. You no longer live on autopilot, you live with intention, knowing that your time is too precious to be wasted on anything that does not contribute to your future. Valuing your time also means valuing your mental peace. You start choosing silence over unnecessary chaos, clarity over confusion, and purpose over wandering. You begin to avoid environments that disturb your focus and people who destabilize your emotions. Your mind becomes calmer when your schedule becomes cleaner. The more you value your time, the more selective you become about what enters your life. You stop chasing things that have no meaning and start gravitating toward actions that build your strength. This shift creates a deep sense of inner power because you are no longer pulled in a 100 directions. You move forward with clarity and conviction. Your relationship with time also defines your relationship with achievement. When you value your hours, you automatically create space for learning, creating, practicing, and improving. You stop waiting for inspiration and start building discipline. You stop relying on motivation and start relying on structure. You stop expecting life to magically change and start taking deliberate steps every day. This habit of respecting time transforms your results. You achieve more not because you worked harder than others, but because you wasted less. You progress faster not because you are more intentional. When you value your time, success stops feeling like a distant dream and starts becoming a natural outcome. Valuing your time also teaches others how to treat you. People respect the boundaries you set for yourself. When they see you focusing, they hesitate to interrupt. When they see you prioritizing your goals, they stop expecting you to waste energy on meaningless things. When they see you respecting your hours, they understand that you respect your life. On the other hand, if you allow others to take your time without limits, they assume your time is unimportant. Your schedule is a reflection of your self-worth. Protecting it is not selfishness, it's maturity. You are choosing growth over approval, progress over comfort, and purpose over distraction. Most importantly, valuing your time shapes your identity. You begin to see yourself as someone who deserves discipline, someone who is capable of achieving great things, someone who does not waste potential. This belief system is powerful because your actions follow your identity. When you see yourself as valuable, you naturally start living like someone who matters. You eat better, think better, work better, and decide better. You stop tolerating chaos and start building direction. Every meaningful change in life begins with this simple shift, recognizing that you are worthy of a life built with intention. When you choose to value your time, you choose to rise. You choose to prioritize growth over excuses. You choose to strengthen the parts of yourself that will shape your future. Time becomes your ally instead of your enemy. Your days begin to align with your dreams. And slowly, quietly but surely, your life transforms not because the world changed, but because you finally realized your own worth and started treating your time like something sacred. Time invested in growth never goes to waste, because every moment you dedicate to becoming better pays you back in ways you may not see immediately, but you will feel deeply over time. Growth is not always loud or noticeable. It often happens quietly in the background of your daily life. The eking practice, icing calm, improving, healing, and building. You create changes inside yourself that eventually show up outside. People usually focus on quick results, fast progress, and instant success. But true growth works differently. It moves slowly, steadily, and consistently. It may not give you excitement in the moment, but it gives you transformation in the long run. When you invest your time in growth, you are planting seeds for your future. Each skill you develop, each habit you strengthen, each lesson you learn becomes a part of your foundation. These investments compound. What feels small today becomes powerful tomorrow. A few minutes of reading every day turns into knowledge that shapes your decisions. A few minutes of practice turns into mastery. A few minutes of discipline turns into confidence. Even the smallest steps, when repeated consistently, reshape your identity into someone stronger, wiser, and more capable. The time you put into growth never disappears. It builds a version of you that will benefit all areas of your life. Investing in growth also changes how you see challenges. Instead of fearing difficulties, you start seeing them as opportunities to become better. You understand that every uncomfortable moment pushes you beyond your limits. Every mistake teaches you something valuable. Every setback trains your resilience. Growth transforms challenges into lessons and failures into stepping stones. This mindset makes you unstoppable because you stop running away from effort and start running toward improvement. You realize that growth is not something you chase. It is something you choose daily through your actions. Time spent growing also protects you from stagnation. Many people stay stuck because they are waiting for life to improve on its own. They wait for luck, for motivation, for the right conditions. But life does not change unless you change. Investi NG in growth breaks this pattern. It pushes you forward even when circumstances are not perfect. It keeps your mind active, your skills sharp, and your direction clear. Instead of being controlled by your environment, you start shaping your environment. You take responsibility for your progress instead of leaving it to chance. Growth also rewards you emotionally. When you invest time into becoming better, you feel a deeper sense of purpose and inner strength. You begin to trust yourself because you can see your own efforts. Your confidence grows because you know you are taking steps toward your goals. Your mind becomes calmer because growth reduces confusion and increases clarity. You stop comparing yourself to others because you are too focused on your own journey. You start feeling proud of yourself, not because you reached the final destination, but because you are moving forward consistently. Another powerful thing about investing time in growth is that it creates long-term benefits. The skills you learn may help you earn more. The habits you build may make your life healthier. The discipline you develop may keep you strong in difficult times. The mindset you shape may help you overcome any challenge. Growth gives you tools that stay with you forever. Even if life changes, even if circumstances shift, your growth remains a part of you. It becomes your strength, your shield, and your advantage. Time invested in growth also attracts better opportunities. When you grow, you naturally rise. People notice your discipline, your consistency, your mindset, and your abilities. You attract connections, chances, and pathways that match your new level. Growth changes your surroundings because it changes your inner world first. The time you spend building yourself opens doors that once felt out of reach. What seemed impossible starts becoming achievable simply because you improv. Who you are. The beauty of growth is that it never betrays you. It never leaves you empty. It never becomes meaningless. No matter how slow it feels, no matter how tiring it gets, every second you invest in improving yourself becomes part of your success, your identity, and your future. Show.